guys. It's awesome. We've come on a bit
Hi,
early. I'm here
good
with
to see
Nicola here. I'm here with Teresa. And we're joined with Stephanie Jai, who's one of our speakers at the Conscious Crypto event. We are going to be doing TA. We'll start at the top of the hour, give everybody a bit of an opportunity. Forgot to turn my phone off, Teresa.
Bottom of the half hour, I think is what you mean. So much going on this week, guys. So much. Oh my God, the energy is building. Boy, we couldn't have picked a better week to do this Conscious Crypto event because so much is shifting and shifting fast. We are going to see some big moves in the coming months. And you want to be ready for it. I'm super excited. Sorry, back to you, Nicola.
No, I was just saying I forgot to turn my phone off.
Yeah,
so guys,
I know. I was giving you space to turn the phone off.
Yeah, we've come on a little bit early. So for those of you who are doing the playback, you might want to fast forward 2 minutes to where we actually start. Yeah. We just wanted to come on early because we were having a really juicy conversation with Stephanie, one of our speakers at the event this weekend. Description of the event and the link is below for you to get your ticket there. Stephanie, say hi first of all, and we'll introduce you again top of the hour.
Hello, I'm so grateful to be here and in this space and chatting about some things that are super, I'm very passionate about and really cool seeing everything fused together. So I'm electric. I can't wait to share more with you guys, but thank you for having me here today. And I'm excited.
Yeah. We're going to be looking back on this time in history as one of the most pivotal times in history, right?
Absolutely.
So much going on, like cryptocurrency in general, such a major paradigm shift. Black swan events happening every few months. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about when I say black swan events, I mean events that in hindsight, we never predicted them, but they were predictable. Like when we look at them from the future backward, it was like, oh, of course, we should have seen that one coming. But nobody's talking about it and nobody's thinking about it, right? Just so much going on in the world right now. And which is why we started this channel and why we created this Conscious Crypto Speakers event. Why conscious, right? Like we get asked that question a lot. And this is one of the reasons we have Stephanie on today, right? Because a lot of people confuse consciousness, like the ability to intentionally make choices and tune into your higher intuition and your higher cognitive abilities. And, there's more scientific definitions of that and there's more spiritual definitions of that, but they all kind of merge around the conversations of this is the higher functions of your brain versus instinct, which is a base level function of your brain. And it's based on fight, flight, or freeze. Instinct will kill a trader. Higher consciousness will make you millions, right? And I think this is one of the core distinctions that we're talking about on this channel all the time. And one of the reasons we set up this Conscious Crypto event, because we want, a lot of people aren't talking about this, but this is the distinction that creates the upper 1%, because it's so easy for traders to tune into collective consciousness, right? Which is fear, greed, right? And we know we want to be buying when fear is high and selling when greed is high, right? We all know that technically, but if we're tuning into our instincts are sending us in the wrong direction, right? Yeah. And I see you ladies nodding.
So it's half past. It's half past. So we're ready to rock and roll. So Nicola here, I've been referred to as that blonde lady, Teresa. So obviously we're not mentioning our names enough. So I'm Nicola and I'm here with Teresa. We run this channel, Conscious Crypto Traders. And today we're joined with Stephanie Jai, who's one of our speakers for the Conscious Crypto event happening this weekend. 3 days of top YouTubers talking about technical analysis, helping you with your strategies, altcoins, taxation, you name it, as well as the mindset and the metaphysical part. So in just a moment, we're going to be doing the charts. We'll look at what's going on with Bitcoin. I think there's a W there on the 1 hour. We will see. And also with Ethereum ready to burst out. And if we get time, XRP. But to start with, Teresa's just going to give us a big macro perspective of what's going on in the market. So then Stephanie will come and talk a little bit about mindset and metaphysics and manifestation. So the 3 important M's, and then we'll go to the charts. But the charts are important right now because everybody's going, is it going to pump? Is it going to dump? Where's it going? And that's when you have to zoom out and have a look at the macros. So take it away, Teresa, on that note.
Okay. Yeah. One of the reasons we invited Stephanie Jai on this call, who's one of our speakers at the Conscious Crypto event this weekend, is there is so freaking much going on right now. Guys, buckle up, like buckle up. We're in for a ride here, right? And I'm so excited about the timing of this event. Like we couldn't have timed it better, right? So from a macro perspective, we have some huge things going on, right? We've got unprecedented levels of black swan events, right? We've got the tech crunch that's going on from the shortage of microchips that is shutting down whole industries, like pausing whole industries. We've got the major producers of microchips in Taiwan, not only jacking their prices through the roof, but lots of posturing by China that, you know, we might have military action against Taiwan. Holy cow, could that create a tech shortage, right? We've got COVID is monthly creating black swan events that we're not predicting. We have every country in the world overprinting currency. The stats are coming out different every month, but you know, most stats are reporting over 80% of currency in existence now has been printed in the last 18 months. That's mind-boggling from someone who came out of the Forex trading industry. I think people are asking, when is the recession going to be over? I don't think we've seen anything yet, folks. Like, and this is why the wealthy are moving into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency big time, because all the evidence is there that Bitcoin is becoming the new gold. And crypto is becoming the new paradigm shift. Now, this is somewhere where, as an expert in influence, you guys might not know this about me, outside the crypto space, I wrote the book Mass Influence, The Habits of the Highly Influential. So I have a lot of expertise. That book's been on the bestseller list for several years now. A lot of expertise in the realm of mass influence and mass movements on the planet, right? And one of the things that's huge that we're seeing right now is what we would call tipping point energy, right? And you've probably heard these terms before. Let me just tell you what they mean. When we talk about tipping points, that means in any given population, when the early adopters and the innovators all sign up for something, inevitably the rest of the population will follow. And you can take that on a countrywide basis. You can take that on a global basis. We saw that with the internet. It took several years for the internet to hit 15% penetration. When the internet had 15% globally, within a year, the internet was the way we were doing business. With Internet 2.0, we saw the same thing. With cell phones, it took 15 years for cell phones to get to 15% adoption. When cell phones hit 15% adoption within a year, every freaking person on the planet, I'm exaggerating because there's still a few holdouts, but the majority of the planet then had cell phones, right? We're about to hit tipping point energy on adoption for cryptocurrency, right? We are just hovering below it. We could hit that energy any day. And usually the big constraining factor is things like, what does the regulators think about this, right? So I'm not just watching the SEC lawsuit against Ripple from a standpoint of Ripple. I'm watching the SEC lawsuit from a standpoint of there's a lot of people out there that want to know what the regulators think about cryptocurrency. And when we finally have clarity on that, people are going to start to jump in en masse. Like my daughter phoned me the other night and she says, you know, now my coworkers that have never talked about crypto are asking me, should I buy Bitcoin? She says, that's kind of interesting. I'm like, yeah, that's the wave of tipping point energy that's coming, right? So we want to be at the early event of this. We're going to see, we may not have seen anything yet. We might just be at the precipice of what's going to be the remainder of a massive super cycle here. This could be coming, folks. So buckle up, right? Which is why we invited Stephanie.
Kansas is going bye-bye.
Yeah, right. So that's one of the reasons we invited Stephanie on. We want you guys to be ready for this, right? And there's still too many traders out there that don't understand the distinction between base instincts, like trusting my gut. Your gut is based on instinctive feelings that are a fear and like fight, flight, freeze, or sometimes fawn, like that's the fourth F, right? That is based on base instincts versus higher consciousness. How to look consciously at something and tune into your higher cognitive abilities, your ability to connect with the energies of the universe. And I'm going to sound woo-woo here for a minute, but there's scientific basis for this too. And you got to understand these distinctions. So that was a long way to introduce. Welcome, Stephanie. I'm so glad you could be here. And I'm really excited to have you one of our speakers at the Conscious Crypto event.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm really, really honored to be at the Conscious Crypto event as well. It's not often that I get to fuse what I would say, magic in the middle path, what we'll talk about in a minute, and add that into something that provides such incredible abundance and prosperity opportunity as something like crypto. So this is a really unique opportunity for me as well. And I believe that, it's about time that good people make good money. So I believe this event is a catalyst for that. So thank you very much for having me here and inviting me to speak in general.
Yeah, nice. Great. So in a moment, guys, we are going to go to the charts. We're going to look at what's going on with Bitcoin. I did say I saw a W there, Ethereum, but we're in this titter-totter kind of a movement. And when that happens, we don't know which direction we're going to go. And Stephanie, most people start to make really crazy, silly decisions. Now, you had mentioned something before we got on board about the difference between manifestation and metaphysics, and how it's the 80-20, right? 80% of your success is going to be in the metaphysical and the mindset. It's not going to be in the technical analysis. So guys, bear with us. This is the 80% of your success right here, right now. Take it away there, Stephanie.
Well, I want to interject one thing before we go over to Stephanie. For those of you guys who are thinking this is woo-woo, we've got billionaires like Ray Dalio talking about the importance of meditation and higher consciousness. If you're not paying attention to what the billionaires are doing, you're not going to be ready for making massive amounts of money. So pay attention here, guys, because this is what billionaires do. Okay. So Stephanie, sorry, take us away. Yeah,
that's okay. And to feed off of that too a little bit, because I do know, there's this woo-woo, the word manifestation. What does that even mean? I think I can just sit on my couch and wave a magic wand and things will just show up in my life. And that's not how it works, but it kind of is. And just to give a little bit of background for myself, I came from a very strictly atheist, very science-based. I have degrees in microbiology and organic chemistry. My background is heavily in science. And I've taken that and then applied that to the metaphysics, to the quantum physics, and to what we consider the mystical, magical realm. And the truth is, as far as I'm concerned, magic is simply science that we don't understand yet. So what we're talking about here is just science that we haven't figured out. It doesn't mean it's not real. Gravity didn't start existing when we figured out how it worked. It was always there. We just didn't explain it. And this is very much the same thing that we're seeing with this increase in manifestation and words around magic, is a lot of people are highly adopting these spiritual principles and these meditative technologies. Meditation is a technology that, yes, many of the billionaires are using, and they don't understand it. But how many people know how a microwave works? And I'm willing to bet you still use your microwave. I don't use a microwave, but a lot of people do. So I still use my car, right? So we don't need to understand exactly how something works to trust that it will. And that's really what I'm asking people to consider when we're looking at the realm of magic, is just because you don't fully understand the exact mechanics of it, can you trust through your own experimentation that it will work 100% of the time? And I love the idea of questioning authority, including mine. So I'm showing up here as an authority on magic, but I encourage people, please, please, please test this out yourself and find your own evidence of success, because that's really where, quote unquote, the magic is when you prove it to yourself that these pieces work.
Yeah.
Now, when we talk about, go ahead.
I was going to say, at the event, Stephanie, I'm going to be talking about the subconscious mind and the role it plays in the decision making when we are traders and when we're placing trades. But what I love about what you're going to be talking about is the more deeper metaphysical conversation of the workings of the universe and how we can use it as crypto traders to get to that life-changing wealth that we're wanting.
Yeah, one of the things that's really, really unique about crypto and why I believe in it as such an opportunity to create prosperity and wealth in this world is that most of the time, and in fact, for all of human history, when we've been talking about manifestation, the laws of attraction, 12 universal laws, the way to bring abundance and opportunity into ourselves has always been through other people, right? So if you think of any way that money has come in through you, it's coming from the universe, but through other humans. So the universe is bringing you abundance, but it's coming through somebody handing you a $20 bill, a surprise check in the mail, a raise, whatever the case might be. And this means that things take a little bit longer to work out. If you think of like the web of possibilities as this large web where there's all these different influences happening at the same time, if I'm manifesting $10,000, that means that there's like only so many ways that a person can bring me $10,000 from the universe, or maybe 5 from here and 3 from there. And it requires me to be open to those opportunities happening. So there's a lot of chaos in the universe from that respect, based on am I even open to it coming in those ways, or do I think it has to come this way? Can it actually come from these people? Are those other people listening and coming in the right way? So there's all these like permutations and combinations that have to line up for that synchronicity to happen for me to get that $10,000. When we talk about crypto, the human element is completely removed from the equation. It's completely removed. I don't have to wait for that money to come from another human. As long as I am in my metaphysical energy and I am grounded and I am open and I'm following proper trading rules, so i.e. not trading from what people they say, oh, trust your gut. And Teresa, you hit this. And really that's just a fear reaction, right? 9 times out of 10, when people say trust your gut, they have no idea what the gut reaction in their body actually is. And they're dealing with a splenic fear reaction, which is less than ideal when we're making these types of decisions. Yeah. But if you've done your work, if you've done your mindset work, if you've gotten your own human out of the way, then there's literally a zero human game. And there's no reason why you can't be the next crypto billionaire, crypto millionaire, whatever the case might be, because it's actually from the universe's perspective, way easier now to bring you abundance than ever before.
Yep. Which is why the regulators are looking at it, right? And China's doing it. Awesome. That is fantastic. So Stephanie, thanks so much for joining us. Stephanie's going to be one of our speakers in leading a masterclass with her partner Cien. Plus, she is on one of the panels talking more about this subject and how you can use it in your trading. If you haven't got your ticket, it is below in the description. And Stephanie, you're welcome to just stick around if you want to pipe up every now and then while we look at the charts, because the charts represent human consciousness in action, right? Because it's humans that are making those decisions. So let's go. Teresa,
it's fun when you start seeing the individual candles as just thousands of people making decisions. Then you start to realize there's people behind all those candles.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And we've been in this rising wedge broken out of the bigger triangle that we've been following on this channel. Teresa, would you, I mean, it's not beautiful, as Chris would say, another one about Chris from MMCrypto, another one of our speakers. Would you call that a W? It's not a beautiful W, but
it's not beautiful, but it's looking pretty W-ish. The other thing that I would say is this could vary when we look at that big channel we've been trading within. If you call this a busted pattern and it goes back up into that channel, then anytime a pattern busts, like goes down and then comes back up in, it's one of the most reliable patterns you have. If it busts first and then goes back in the opposite direction, the percentage likelihood that it's going to move in the opposite direction actually increases quite significantly.
Yeah. And like if we're going up here in this ascending channel, which breaks to the downside more often than not, and at the moment, we actually failed. We came down here, right? It's like, yay, everybody was getting excited. They wanted to dump it. But the consciousness of the dumpers did not outweigh the consciousness of the pumpers. And we came right back up, touched the previous support line as resistance, came back down. Now, normally, if this was going to be a valid pattern, we would trade down below this candle to signify we are continuing to go down. So now the question is, with this red candle here on the hourly, which is right on the support resistance line, are we going to reverse down or are we going to come back into the pattern? And Teresa, we've had a lot of invalidation patterns. Like we've had, where was there one? There was a small head and shoulders here that never played out, right? Right there.
Yeah.
So in the last couple of days, as Saturn has come out of retrograde, we've had some invalidation of patterns, and there's been some more in here as well. Where is it? Well, this bull flag, this tiny weeny bull flag here, don't think that quite played out either, right?
Yeah.
Just fell
I think
short.
that's one thing that's distinct in the world of crypto trading relative to Forex trading, in my experience, is there's a lot higher prevalence of patterns that don't play out or patterns that bust.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you could call them a busted pattern or a failed breakout. But when it starts breaking in one direction and then U-turns and goes in the opposite direction, the good news is when it U-turns and does go in the opposite direction, it's usually a more reliable pattern at that point. But if you've just gotten wrecked at the busted pattern, usually you don't have the presence of mind to open a new trade, right? So that's where you want to be paying attention.
Yeah. And this fractal that we've been following on Saturn retrograde, I've updated it. If you didn't see our live stream from a few days ago, I've updated it. 2020 is below, 2021 is above. When Saturn retrograde's all about retarded speed, and we have seen retarded speed in after dumping, taking a really long time to get back up into a decent price range. This yellow line here in 2028 delineated, anyway, forget that word. It indicates that we're going progressive. And if you have a look at what happened last year, we had a couple of days of red candles and then we just pumped. So where we are right now, this is the green candle here. We've just come out of retrograde. We're on the second day. We got a red candle yesterday, a red daily candle yesterday. If we have a red candle today, it's consistent, right? And even if it's not exact, the concept of it is that within the next few days or within the next week, definitely, if we are following this pattern from the last year, which we seem to be, we're days away from taking off to the upside, right?
Yeah. That's a powerful fractal. It's been playing out pretty accurately so far. So
following it since May.
Yeah, neat one to pull up.
So so that makes it really difficult if you're not already in a long, right? If you're in a long, you might want to just move your stop loss up, put a trailing stop loss in. Teresa, you've done a video on trailing stop losses?
Yep. Yeah, there's videos on how to do them on our channel.
Okay, cool.
So this is kind of a wait moment right now, right? Anytime the price is right at a major support line, we want to see which direction it's going before we make a determination of whether to trade. So it's either going to go back up into the pattern or it's going to bounce off here. If it bounces off, we're probably going down to the next major support levels. As Nicola was saying, are you going to give them targets, Nicola? Or?
Yeah, we did a lot of targets yesterday, but I've had to take some of those targets out because the pattern's been invalidated, right? And like if we were going to reach this pattern, I mean, I can give you the W. Let's get the W first. If that W plays out and it breaks that neckline at around 56,866, and we come down here. See, this is a pattern that could get invalidated, Teresa, because it's going right over this resistance zone of these resistant bands. Yeah. At around 58, 58 or 57, 57 really all the way up to 58. But that target is 60,477. So it's really interesting. I mean, if you're not in a trade, you need to stand on the sidelines until we get a confirmed breakout. But just know, even some of the confirmed breakouts have U-turned. So that's when it would be good to put in either a small position and a tight stop loss until we start seeing it run away and then add, or just sit it out and wait until we see some kind of a we see some kind of a very clear direction in one way or the other. So see how we've been trading sideways. So Stephanie, when you don't know what to do, like, because this is the 80% rule, right? 80% of your success is your psychology, 20% is technical analysis. So when you don't know what to do, what do you do?
9 times out of 10. So the way to tell your ego away and difference between ego and higher self, what do? You check where the voice is coming from. So if we're like, I don't know, 9 times out of 10, it's your head trying to predict the future, and your brain is not designed to predict the future. Your brain is designed to help you survive in this present moment. it can't see at the fourth dimensional level, which your higher self can. So what you want to do is check in on where is this information coming from? Where is it actually, and what does it feel like in my body? So as a very beginner baseline guidance, if it's feeling like fear, anger, frustration, or resistance, it's coming from your mind. So allow that, not from the higher perspective. If it's feeling like just a curiosity or a softer deflection, something along those lines, then that's where you're going to want to say, okay, this is my higher self. For example, if you're driving down a road and you're about to get into a car accident, your ego, your brain will freak out. That's the fear of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to like contract. You feel a contraction in the body. Higher self will have just turned you off that path and been like, hey, why don't you take a different road today? And it will have turned you off and diverted you from that thing even happening. So when we don't know what we need to do, or we're not really sure what decision is the right decision, it's always, always important to get yourself out of fear, flight, fight, fawn response, tune into the body and get curious about what does this actually feel like? And when you know what it feels like, then you know where the information is coming from and you can make a decision from that place, a much more conscious one.
So go a bit deeper on that one, Stephanie, because I notice a lot of traders have trouble identifying FOMO as fear, like fear of missing out, right? Because they get this sense of urgency and they don't realize that it's actually fear. So what would you say to traders? Like FUD is one that's a little easier to identify. Like when we've got fear, uncertainty, and doubt, it feels a little bit more like fear, but sometimes people don't recognize fear of missing out as fear. What would you say to that? How do you help people know when they're in FOMO as opposed to really tuned in to their higher functions?
Yeah, anytime there's a sense of like, if we're going to define fear of missing out, it means that there's a future state that I'm projecting into, and I'm thinking I'm going to be upset if I don't get that, right? I'm going to be upset if I don't get to go to the party. I'm going to be upset if I don't get that big Bitcoin raise that everybody else got. I'm going to feel like I'm not part of the tribe. And that in and of itself, the idea of you could miss out, even the concept that you could miss out on something that is divinely yours is inherently coming from the ego. So again, it's just taking that couple of minutes when you're feeling that rise in your body, because you said that you hit the nail on the head when you said urgency, right? We all know what urgency feels like in the body. When you're feeling that, that's your cue, not to act, but to step back, take a breather, and just get really, really, really curious. Curiosity is your best friend. And your ego, your spleen, your FOMO is going to always tell you, you don't have time to slow down. You have to make this decision right now. Urgency, right? Push, 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 go, go, go. You've got to do it before everybody else does. Anytime that's coming up, that's not your higher self. That's not your higher consciousness. Because the truth is, waiting 5 minutes to meditate or to just drop into your body is not going to make and break even in the trading world. And as soon as you think it is, that's your key that you're operating out of a fear scarcity mindset.
Yeah, that's the adrenaline and cortisol levels just going through the roof. So you're actually being run by your endocrine system, right? Because it's pumping out adrenaline of like, like I've got to do this. It's like a fear. And like, shout out to you guys who we love our male followers. We love men in general, who think women are over emotional. You forget that frustration, fear, and anger are emotions, right?
Yep.
It's not just crying and being upset that are emotions. Like we have a wide variety of emotions. And I think you said something really pivotal, and I can't remember what it is now, but it was really key. It's gone. It will come back to me while we're speaking. Yeah. Yes. But the concept of checking back in with yourself. Oh, I know what it was. I've always had this thing that I was taught from my spiritual teachers: slow down to speed up. Mm-hmm. So when you're talking about that race, right, that urgency, you're speeding up, your body's speeding up, adrenaline, cortisol is pumping through your body. So everything is speeding up, including your heart, right? That's not healthy for us.
It's also a common expression on the racetrack. When I used to car race, they would say,
what's that? Slow down to speed up.
When you want to win at car racing, you've got to know when to slow down. So you've got to slow down to speed up, right? Yeah. It's the same for anything. right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the concept of slowing down to speed up is like when we slow down and we come into that level of higher consciousness and we come into our pure being, knowing that everything's going to be okay regardless of what happens. We're in timelessness. We're not in linear time. And I've had so many experiences, like I've even seen it in the charts, where the Ichimoku cloud looks like it was going to dump. And this has happened to me twice. And it looked like it's going to dump. And then I'm going, oh my God, I'm going to get liquidated. And I couldn't act fast enough. And then we bounced right off a Fibonacci level, boom, up we go again. And we moved away from the liquidation point. And then the Ichimoku cloud changes, like it literally just goes, oh crap, that just changed. And I never know whether that happened in real time or whether something interceded. And I've had so many experiences, not just as a trader, but in life. So that everybody listen to that, is everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's like, right, it doesn't matter what happens anyway, everything's going to be okay. And by slowing down, checking in with the body, like for me, when I want to slow down, I just still the body. I don't focus on stilling the mind, because I don't know if that's possible. I just focus on stilling the body. Heart rate comes down, blood pressure comes down, peace of mind enters, mind starts to slow down. And then you start to feel the wisdom of yourself come forward, but it won't come in when you're going, like when you're frantic. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And to add to that, one of the things that was just coming up as you were speaking, there's a lot of science now to show that we as humans are heavily, heavily addicted to our emotional states that are familiar. So if it's familiar for us to be in a state of stress, of high cortisol, of high adrenaline, just because we're used to a high stress job or, sports or whatever the case might be, we even grew up in a high stress household. That means that we will actually look for opportunities to create that feeling of stress because it's familiar, and familiarity is safety. That's homeostasis in the body. So when we're talking about things like, the senses of urgency or the feelings of like, oh, I have to do this quickly, it has to be right now. A lot of times that is literally just the body looking for its fix, if you want to use the like addiction terminology, to feel stressed. And it actually has zero to do with intuition, with what's happening in the market. I can go really deep into the psychology of like reticular activating system and how we only see what the body wants us to see. We'll save that for when we're actually in the conference this weekend. But suffice to say that you can't trust your body's reactions the way you think you can. And oftentimes that urgency is actually fabricated.
Yeah. Beautiful. Nicely said. So right now, there's no urgency to jump into a long if you're not in one, right? We're waiting for a confirmation. We're waiting for a breakout above this W, reconfirmation coming up. And I would say in order to get up through that resistance, we need to look at the volume. And ideally, I would want to see the CM Williams VIX down here turn green. So that I know that we've got, some action happening on the Bollinger Bands indicating that we are going to go up and we're going to keep going up. So at the moment, it just looks like we are trading sideways, but we're still getting higher lows, right? So general overall bullish structure. If you want more TA on a moment by moment basis, join our Discord server below. And if you like what we're talking about, we'd love it if you would just give us a like. This channel is a tutorial channel. We do cover mindset, managing your emotions, as well as technical analysis, teaching you how to chart and how to do technical analysis. We upload videos every day and we go live on Wednesdays. And we have a Conscious Crypto event. Teresa, do you want to talk a little bit about that today? Because you only have 2 more days to get your ticket.
We're coming down to the wire here, guys.
Yeah.
You do not want to miss this event. There is so much going on right now, and we have so many of the top experts on YouTube talking at this event, and they're going to be diving into really deep conversations, and you'll be able to get your questions answered. Those of you who are in the VIP group. This is going to be a really pivotal event. This will be a tipping point event, not only for the industry, but for you personally as a trader. We booked the kind of speakers here that we want to learn from. We think one of the biggest things that most traders need is they need to really understand not just the principles of technical analysis or the principles of what decisions to make, but they need to understand some of the key fundamentals of mindset and risk management and how to structure your overarching portfolio, and fundamentals around how to make good decisions around your tax setup and minimizing your tax burden, so that when you make your life-changing wealth, you get to keep your life-changing wealth.
Yeah.
So we've got 3 packed days just full of information. No matter what industry you were going into, you only become one of the upper 1% if you invest in your own learning. And like, we know most of you have lost more than this on individual trades. Admit it, you have. This is going to be money well spent. Just roll up your sleeves, dive in, pull this event toward you, and be ready for the super cycle that's coming, because it's coming, and it could be coming fast.
Exactly. It's online, it's on Zoom. We're going to have breakout sessions where you'll be putting together your strategies. And at the end of it, Lisa Spirited and I are doing the final wrap up, and Teresa will be joining us towards the end, where we're going to be doing price predictions of altcoins and Bitcoin, and dates that you need to be aware of in your trading that could pump and dump. We're going to have a go at picking the top of the market, when to start getting out and what to go into and what have you, based on numbers as well as technical analysis. So we're combining the two. This is the world's first online crypto trading conference that does make that that connection between the mindset, the metaphysical, as well as straight out technical analysis. We have an excited bunch of people coming. There will be networking opportunities, so you don't want to miss it out. Tickets below. To finish off with, let's just have a look at Ethereum. And I haven't seen the chart for Ethereum for a bit. And here's one of those moments where we've got a teaching moment here. Look at that breakout. Let me clean it up for you. Get Ichimoku out of the way. We've got a descending channel. Teresa, this is another one of those moments where Ethereum's leading the way. We went to Bitcoin and we went, is it going up? Is it going down? And it's like, well, we're in a bullish pattern in this descending channel for Ethereum, and we've broken out of it.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. If it comes back around and tests that what was the upper resistance now becomes support, then that's going to be a super solid trade. I'd love to see it break through that one last level of resistance there that's just above us in the market. Yeah. But that's going to be a really nice trade, and I'm watching that one closely. I'm looking for it to come back down to that resistance line before I enter, but that's a solid trade.
Totally. And like, if we get above 35.32, or when we get above 35.32, the first port of call is going to be 36.70. And more on that in the Discord server. We don't have any divergences just yet. Well, we don't know. We've got to watch what happens here, right? Because at the moment, that's neck and neck.
Yeah, it could be a divergence forming there. So that's worth watching. If the RSI keeps going higher on the RSI, but not higher in the market, then we might have a bearish divergence there. So that would be one to really pay attention to.
And we do have to watch, because look at this. We had a bull flag, went the opposite direction. We had a symmetrical triangle, right? Went the opposite direction. So, this could be a W as well too. Ever so slightly, boom, 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 boom. Yeah. And then we've broken above that. So just watch out for that. And we'll keep you posted in the Discord server. So make sure that you join us. Stephanie, awesome. Totally amazing that you joined us today. I really love your contribution, and I'm looking forward to spending time at the Conscious Crypto event with you, and also your partner, Cien.
Thank you so much for having me. Always wonderful. Always wonderful chatting with you ladies.
Yeah.
Thank you. And we will be seeing you tomorrow in our live stream, the final live stream before we go live with the Conscious Crypto event on Friday. So thanks, Teresa, as well.
Yep. Until next time, guys, trade consciously.
Trade consciously, folks. Bye for now.